So as you guys can see, this is the oil pan, and as I said in prior videos, this oil pan does not have a gasket, and it's not supposed to have a gasket. The reason for that is, like I said before, it interferes with the sensor. I forget which sensor it is, but it's something you don't really want to, screw with. So basically what I'm going to do is I've already got, the first layer on it around it, and that's just supposed to go into, the little, I guess you could say, valleys here in the center and everything. But I need to go ahead and scrape the top parts off, and being very careful not to cut myself here. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And the reason for this is it just helps it seal better. I did let this cure overnight when I did it, about a week ago to be exact. So there's no harm there. You're supposed to let it cure for about a night, just overnight, one night. And being very careful not to cut myself, like I said. I really don't want to do that. And when I cut the old gasket off last time, what I ended up having to do was using a pocket knife because I didn't have any of these razor blades handy. I got these from work, as well as this piece of Scotch-Brite right here, which is kind of it's kind of like sandpaper. It does the same thing, but it works really good. So there that is, and it's ready to be, what I've got to do is create some red net gasket holes around here. And for that you just use a regular paper bag. So you don't really need to do it, but it's just one of those things that it's good to do because you don't really want too much of this RTV to when you go and put on your oil pan to get stuck inside with the bolts that go into the block. But yeah, that's why you do that. So I'm going to go ahead and set that under there and get the parts ready. Okay guys, so here's a bit of an update on the old Geo. I got a couple things for it and everything. I did a video a couple nights back, and I put the oil pan on in the bottom. I'll get to that in a minute, but figured I should go ahead and redo this video because I'm in a lot better of a mood than I was. So I guess we can start over here. I've got the new oil for it. I made sure, when I was in there, I told them, everything that I was doing and rebuilding this motor and whatnot, and they told me to just go ahead and buy, the lowest quality oil because I'm essentially going to be changing it in 500 miles. I did, however, to make sure to buy a Wix filter because I didn't want to buy a Fram and have it get plugged up and then, I'm out of an engine again. So I didn't do that. I also got a new jug of antifreeze for it. So that'll go on when it goes on. Here's the new head. What I've got to do is there's a new cam seal that it was included, as well as a one of them rubber ring type deals. And so I'm going to have to put that on, deal with that. It looks just like this one. That's really all it looks like. And then there's a guy on the forum who wants to buy this old head off me for 40 bucks, and he'll cover the shipping and everything. So, essentially I'll make 10 bucks on the deal over sending it back to the people I bought it from on eBay and getting a $30, core return on it that I already paid. So that is what it is. What I've got right here is copper spray, which needs to go onto the gasket before I can even, put the head on and everything. So that's going to be done. I'm going to set that right here. and more goes on the bottom than goes on the top. Not a big deal. So yeah, that's the story with that bit. You also might have noticed that I finally got a table in here to put the stuff on. The neighbor over there on that side of me was having a yard sale and whatnot because he's leaving. So I went over there and gave him a hand with some things, and I bought this table off him for $5. You know, I didn't feel right, you know, he offered it to me for free, but you know, I wanted to give him something for it. And he also gave me all these old car manuals over here. There's a Ranger, an Aerostar one, Acura Legend. That's for a full-size Chevy Silverado, 1500 probably. It's also good for the Blazer and Suburbans too, so that's pretty cool. And then I've also got one for a 96 through 99 Taurus, so that's kind of cool. Honestly, I'd have no use for them unless I got, you know, another Ranger or something, or a Bronco too. But yeah, it is what it is. I thought that was pretty cool. But the coolest part that he gave me this whole thing for free. I was using this with my phone and plugging it into my, so I can listen to music on it and everything. So that worked out pretty good. Sounds really good. And he just gave it to me, and you know, no questions asked or nothing. So here's the Geo. I don't want to bullshit too much. I've been keeping the cylinders lubed and everything. I lubed them up actually the 2 nights ago when I shot the original video. As you might have noticed, the new water pump is on. And like I said before, I've got our good old oil pan back on. It's kind of a bummer though, because 2 of the bolts in the left and right part of the front row of bolts here, I don't know if you guys can see that, I doubt you can, but they, for whatever reason, I guess I stripped the threads in the block, and according to the people on the forum, it shouldn't be a big deal. I mean, if it starts leaking, I'm just going to have to pull it off again, drain the oil out of it, of course, and, you know, reseal it up with RTV and make it better than it was, but, you know, I'll take their word for it. So, that's where that stands. What else have I got to bullshit about here? Probably not going to have much of a use for this stuff anymore after all this is done, but whatever. I also picked up some much needed extensions today. I finally took back that shitty ass Harbor Freight tool set that was in that that gray case, and I took it back and exchanged it, got like $12 and change back, and I exchanged it for these, you know, these 3/8 inch extensions, which I needed, socket extensions. I really needed these. I got tired of putting the 2 or 3 of these that I already have on top of each other, and you know, barely working at it. So figured using one of these would make things a lot easier. As you might have guessed, I'm honestly in the final stages of this whole thing. I'm at the stage right now where I'm putting it back together. I've kind of lagged on it a little bit, and that's just because, you know, of exterior things that have been going on that, you know, have nothing to do with this. But just haven't really been all that motivated to do much, you know, as well the stress I've been under and everything. But it's all getting put back together, and this has turned into a 3-week rebuild, and it might even turn into a 4-week rebuild, 4 weekends actually. So yeah, that's all the parts and stuff. Not really too much to show off here. RTV and thread locker and everything. But yeah, that's where the Geo stands right now. Today, what I'm gonna do is get this all copper sprayed up and everything. I can't really go much further after I get this done because it's got to sit and cure overnight. I guess this stuff just makes it more durable or something. But it's highly recommended to use that, so that's what I'm going to do. I really don't want to have to dive back into this thing if I don't have to. I didn't change out the oil pump, which is behind the crank gear right there. I didn't change that out because, well, I couldn't get this damn nut off, or bolt, or whatever it is. It's actually a bolt, but I couldn't get that off. That's something I guess you need a an impact wrench for, which I don't have, and I don't even have a air compressor here. Amazingly, I don't have a damn air compressor. So that's why I didn't do that, and the new one I'm just going to hang on to, of course. But this is what it looks like. So if I get any leaks or anything coming out of the oil pump, I'll know exactly what I have to do. It's really the only thing that I neglected to do. And I do know one thing, that when I get all this put back together and get this thing timed, what I'm going to have to end up doing is, replacing all the fluids. And in order to prime the oil pump that's in there and get all the oil to slosh around and everything and coat what it needs to, I'm going to have to keep the distributor cap unplugged and just, hook the battery up and everything and crank the motor a few times, maybe 4 or 5 times, and just to prime everything and get everything ready for it to, actually, make compression and turn over and, start and run, hopefully. So that's what I have to do. Been lagging a lot on this, more than I should have, but it is what it is, and can't build a time machine and go into the past. And I guarantee you this thing will have a very tough time reaching 88 miles an hour. So had to throw that in there, but that's going to be about it for this video. There's going to be another clip of just me putting the oil pan on and everything. You guys don't really need to see me spraying up that head gasket at all. It's not really that big of a deal. I mean, it's just spraying it and shit. So that's what's going to happen. That's where it is, and that's how it stands. So you guys all stay classy. Later.